You might be thinking to yourself, how does a moron working out of a 2-car garage with 2 welding trucks clear $150,000 in his pocket each year? Well, I'm about to lay out the sauce for you. I'm about to tell you exactly how I do it and how to maximize your profitability in the welding business.
Subscribe!
So there's a reason I started the video out with this sitting in the background and this sitting in the background. I made neither of those things. That's right. I'm just going to install them. The difference between your average business owner and an entrepreneur is an entrepreneur delves out the work that they can have somebody else do. Now, the install on both of these things is a little tricky, but building them isn't. I bought this dump truck hinge, yes, that's what it is, straight from Oxbody for $700. It would take me way more time than my time is worth and in material to build this than $700. It's more economical to buy it. And then what you see right here is actually a flip up stairway. And one of my best subcontractors, one of my good friends, shout out to Herminio. Herminio put these bad boys together for me. I went to the customer's site, I figured out one, got it cut, I brought it to him and I said, these are the dimensions I need. And Herminio slammed it together for me. Now, a lot of people say to me, Anthony, I want to get in the welding business. I can't help you, okay? I'm not in the welding business. I'm in the money-making business. I don't care how I make it. If you want me to come paint your house, well, if you pay me my hourly wage, I'll be there. Just like that siding job you guys seen me do a few videos ago. I don't really do siding, but hey, if the money's there, I'm there. I'll do concrete, I'll do whatever pays me. But I'll also subcontract. If I think that there's somebody better suited for the job and I can just play salesman, well, that's what the smart money does. If you get to a point in your business where you're so busy that you can't handle it, you need to subcontract out to other welders. See, I play both sides of that. I'm actually being subcontracted and subcontracted as I make this video. My guy Josh from Stacking Dimes has got me out there doing a structural steel job with him. And on the same note, I have Herminio, he's got a job in his shop right now, an aluminum job that he's gonna take care of for me because I simply do not have time to do everything. But I'm able to maximize my profitability by putting some of that work onto other people. And you might be saying to yourself, well, Anthony, how do I do that? How do I get a subcontractor to go out and pick up some of the slack for me? Well, it's not easy, and it's going to take you years in business to find the right people to help you. I ran into Herminio just by happenstance. He happened to be working to a welding shop that I used to frequent before I got screwed by them. And one day I simply asked him, I said, dude, are you looking for some side work? I seen how talented he was. I seen the stuff he was kicking out for them. And he said, yeah, I am. I said, okay, what do you got? He told me the list of equipment he had, and I started finding him appropriate jobs. After I did a couple of jobs with the guy, I was like, wow, this is a guy I could really trust. But there's multiple facets to that. You can't just go subcontracting guys, right off rip without knowing what kind of money they work for. Herminio, when I first met him, didn't work for what he was worth. He worked for way under what he was worth. And I used to tell him it all the time. And it wasn't a point of me trying to rub anything in or be malicious. It was the point of I seen a brother who needed to be told the truth. He recently broke out on his own, and I'm super proud of him. He's doing double to triple his paycheck each week now, working for himself. Now, you just can't hop into the welding service without understanding it deeply, okay? You need to be able to build, make, fabricate anything you're trying to sell for multiple reasons. The first reason is if you have an unscrupulous subcontractor, they could screw you. The other reason is you really want to understand and be able to sympathize with your subcontractor if they have an issue. There's issues that are going to be unacceptable, and there's going to be issues that are acceptable. Weld defects sometimes are okay on certain items. You're not going to get a perfect weld every time. This is not a perfect world. So get that out of your head too before you get into this business. That's another good tip. Get perfect out of your head, okay? Unless you're a pipe guy or a nuclear guy or someone where perfection is your job, perfect just isn't real in the welding job. Go ahead, walk around, look at your average trailer, look at heavy equipment, look at everything, and you'll notice that 99% of welds are shit, okay? So even if you're a halfway decent welder, you can make a pretty decent living as long as you understand the whole welding game. And now I'm not just trying to encourage you guys to go out with no equipment and just try to sell work. That is a mistake. Do not do that. You need to have all the equipment just in case your sub doesn't show up or something happens, he gets sick, he gets hurt, whatever the case is, so you can pick up the slack and do the job yourself. But you have to be able to do it and be able to do it confidently. So you're probably thinking, well, how much money out of that 150 that you netted did you actually make off of subcontractors? 1/3. What I'll often do is finance the material, so I make my 25% there. I'll finance all the supplies, and I'll also give this subcontractor a little money up front so they got some walking around money so they don't feel like they're being put out. So that's just how I do it. Now, there are some dangers to doing this because you're putting your name on somebody else's work, and you can never really be sure of somebody else's work. So you're gonna have to use your better judgment constantly when selecting people to do your work for you. So somebody like Ox Bodies, I obviously trust that because if something goes wrong, I can go back to them. Herminio, we have years of trust that we built with each other. The man truly is one of my brothers. I would consider him that. He's a great guy, always been 100% with what he said. His work's always right on par, and if it's not, he always understands why I might have a discrepancy with something that he did. He's a very talented individual, and hopefully, if you're in the welding business, you can go out and find yourself somebody you can trust in that same manner. Being on the other side of that coin, being the guy who's getting subcontracted, that is perfectly acceptable when you're in this business. In fact, I encourage you to go out and make relationships with welding shops, other mobile welders, people who are in the business, because they're gonna have the same problem you are. Sometimes there's just not enough for you to go around, or sometimes they can't find the employee for the job. That's just how it goes. So you need to go out and you really need to make relationships. You need to be honest, you need to keep your word, and if you make a mistake, you need to own up to it, okay? Nobody wants to fuck with excuse makers, okay? I don't fuck with excuse makers. If you show up and you do a bad job by me and you start making excuses, guess what? I ain't gonna fuck with you no more. And that's how most serious business people are gonna be. They're not gonna deal with someone who doesn't take their work and their own work seriously. But guys, this game is all about welding, and you can honestly apply what I'm telling you to any business. It really works with any business. When I used to run my bouncy castle company, if I didn't have enough units for a weekend, I would call another bouncy castle company over and say, what do you get for this unit delivered here? And what are your blah, blah, blah? What's your conditions? I would pull a deposit, right? Keep the deposit for myself, let them go out, do the work, and they would keep whatever they got collected at time of delivery. So that's another way. You could really apply this to anything. If you have a painting business, you could find a fellow painter, have him go out, subcontract him with his own vehicle, all of his own tools, and let him do the work. Now, there are some things you need to know about subcontracting. In order for someone to qualify as a subcontractor, they need to be using their own vehicle. They need to be using their own tools. They need to be their own person. They need to be making their own schedule. You cannot tell a subcontractor when to come and go. You cannot tell a subcontractor to use your tools. They aren't a subcontractor then anymore. Then they're a W-2 employee. Now, we're kind of falling into the tax end of this, and that's not really my intention because I'm not, by no means, a tax expert. I do know a bit about taxes, but it's something you need to concern yourself with. And I encourage you to go and sit down with a qualified CPA, like my guy Tony that I talk to on a regular basis, probably weekly. Again, that kind of comes back to creating and building relationships in your community and just around you in general. If you're a good person, easy to deal with, you understand when people make mistakes, they understand when you make mistakes, you'll be successful in this business. But if you try to be a tyrant, it's not going to work out for you. So there it is, motherfuckers, another piece of the puzzle. That's right, you're going to have to watch more of my videos if you want to get the whole fucking picture. I ain't giving it away all at once. I got a lot more sauce. I got a lot more where that came from. All right, there's a lot floating around in old Anthony's head. I know I just seem like a dummy who's a half-ass welder. Well, I am kind of a dummy who's a half-ass welder, but I'm a hell of a businessman, especially for a solo operation, because I don't like the overhead or the headaches of having employees. That's why I keep it to a solo operation. But anyway, guys, if you like what you saw here today, like, subscribe, share, keep dragging rod, keep pushing MIG, keep doing what you do, and I will catch you on my next video.